Throughout our lives, many of us have been warned about the risks of cracking our knuckles. We've heard the phrase, "Stop cracking your knuckles, you'll get arthritis." The truth, however, is completely false. To put this myth to rest, consider Dr. Donald Unger, who cracked the knuckles of his left hand every single day for over 50 years while neglecting to crack the right. After 5 decades, the results were staggering. There was no detectable difference, no arthritis, and certainly no imbalance in his joints. Renowned health organizations, including Harvard Health Publishing and Johns Hopkins Medicine, confirm that there is no credible evidence linking knuckle cracking to arthritis. So if cracking your knuckles brings you some relief, feel free to do so. The only real risk may be annoying those around you. Moving from joints to senses, many people grow up believing that humans have only 5 senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. However, this notion simplifies the complexity of human perception. In reality, scientists estimate that we possess between 14 and 20 distinct senses. Among these are equilibrioception, which is our sense of balance, and proprioception, the ability to perceive the position of our body parts without looking. We also have thermoception, which allows us to sense temperature, and nociception, the perception of pain. Each of these senses has its own neurological pathways in the brain, contributing to a comprehensive sensory experience. So, every second, instead of just processing 5 distinct sensations, our nervous system is engaged in an intricate orchestra of sensory input. Now, let's address a peculiar urban legend: the idea that we swallow an average of 8 spiders each year while sleeping. Not only is this claim false, but it is also practically impossible. Spiders are creatures that instinctively avoid large, noisy animals, and a sleeping human certainly falls into that category. The notion that a spider would willingly crawl into a warm, moist mouth, which opens and closes while we sleep, is absurd. This myth likely emerged in the 1990s as a hoax designed to illustrate how quickly misinformation can spread through the internet, and it succeeded remarkably well. Moving on to another myth, there's a widespread belief that bulls are enraged by the color red, especially depicted in bullfighting traditions. However, this is entirely misleading. Bulls are dichromatic, meaning they are colorblind to red and green. They primarily see shades of blue and yellow. The reason bulls charge is not due to the color of the cape wielded by the matador, but rather the motion of the cape itself. The bull's instinct is to react to movement, not to the pigment's color. The use of red in bullfighting serves primarily to satisfy the human spectators, not to provoke the bull. Ever felt a surge of irritability when you skip a meal? That feeling, often referred to as being hangry, is not just a whimsical term. It has scientific backing. When you go without food, your brain relies on glucose for energy. A drop in blood sugar leads your body to release stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, the same hormones that are triggered during moments of danger. So, when you become hangry, it's your body sounding an alarm, signaling you to feed it. It's a biological response, rather than mere moodiness. Lastly, let's debunk the old saying, blind as a bat. Bats are often thought to be incapable of seeing, but that is far from accurate. While bats do utilize echolocation, a sophisticated biological sonar system, they also have the ability to see. Their eyes are adapted for low-light conditions, which allows them to detect larger shapes and navigate their environment effectively. Echolocation provides fine detail navigation, while vision gives them a broader perspective. Bats are anything but blind. They are, in fact, remarkable multisensory specialists that engage multiple senses to thrive in their surroundings.
There's a peculiar stillness that envelops the air just before a thunderstorm breaks, a phenomenon that goes beyond poetic imagery. It's a result of physics at play. As the storm gathers intensity, powerful updrafts start to pull air inwards and upwards, creating a disruption in the normal flow of wind. This abrupt halt brings about an unnatural quiet, a stillness thick with tension. In these moments, when the atmosphere grows dark and calm, it's not a sign of peace but rather an indication of pressure building up, poised to erupt. Even more intriguing is the misconception that our brains stop developing after a certain age. Contrary to this widely held belief, our brains possess an incredible capability known as neuroplasticity, which is the ability to rewire themselves. This means that you can form new neural connections throughout your life, regardless of age. Picture someone learning a new language at 60, diving into piano lessons at 70, or picking up new skills at 80. While it may require more effort and repetition than in childhood, the potential for growth is always present. The brain remains open for renovation, ready to adapt and learn, no matter the years behind us. When we think about ancient gladiators, images of doomed slaves fighting for survival often come to mind, thanks to Hollywood's portrayals. However, the truth is much more nuanced. While some gladiators indeed began their journeys as enslaved individuals, many were highly trained professionals who chose this path. The matches they fought in were not merely chaotic brawls, they were regulated events. Referees oversaw the combats, and physicians were on hand to ensure competitors' health. Most fights did not end in death, contrary to popular belief. Historical discoveries reveal that many gladiators were well-fed, received medical care, and enjoyed a certain celebrity status among the public, akin to the sports stars of today. In a surprising twist, chewing gum has been shown to provide a boost to brain function. It isn't merely a habit for nervous hands. Research suggests that chewing gum enhances blood flow to the brain, which in turn supplies more oxygen and glucose to the regions responsible for memory and focus. Studies indicate that individuals who chew gum while tackling cognitive tasks often perform slightly better on tests assessing memory and concentration. A simple action with measurable benefits, it underscores the potential of small habits to influence mental capabilities. Now, let's debunk a classic myth: mice don't actually have a fondness for cheese. While it's true that mice will nibble on cheese if available, their true preferences lie with sweeter foods, such as grains, fruits, and sugary treats. The cheese myth likely originated during medieval times when grains were securely stored, while cheese was left out in the open, tempting these small creatures. In reality, mice chose cheese not out of love but for convenience, demonstrating how our narratives can sometimes mislead us about animal behaviors. Finally, a critical clarification in the realm of evolution: humans did not evolve from chimpanzees. This long-standing misunderstanding often clouds discussions about our origins. Instead, both species share a common ancestor that lived approximately 6 to 7 million years ago. This ancestral species diverged into two distinct evolutionary paths, one leading to modern chimpanzees and the other to humans. Visualize it as a family tree, with humans and chimps as cousins sharing a grandparent rather than one directly descended from the other. The evidence from DNA and fossils supports this branching tree analogy, illustrating that evolution is not a straightforward line but a complex and fascinating network of developments. In essence, the world is full of surprising truths, from the calm before the storm to the capabilities of the aging brain, the realities of gladiators, and the peculiar habits of mice. These insights enrich our understanding of nature, biology, and our shared history, reminding us that knowledge is a journey that knows no end.